means you can experience quality anywhere. Call in and pick it up on your way home without leaving your car. No cooking, no cleaning, just dinner. Harvey's, a difference you can taste.
Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. Every single one of us can make the stars align, because when we come together, hope and joy will shine.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Well, happy Labor Day. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon, and you are watching Mississippi Live Weather at 5. Hopefully you and your family have had a happy and safe holiday. Certainly Mother Nature has made it to where it's a pretty nice one out there. We'll, of course, dig into all your forecast details here live from the Room Weather Center in a minute. But just want to, of course, thank you all for supporting us over the course of this summer season. I guess in a lot of ways, Labor Day is the unofficial end of the summer season, even though technically we still have a little ways left in this actual official season itself. As we look at your headlines for this evening here, again, some spotty storms out there tonight, not many. I think there's a better chance tomorrow. And if you're looking for meaningful moisture, spotty is as good as we get, and it's tomorrow. We'll look at that in more detail on that rain chance here in just a moment. I think we're staying cooler than normal much of this week. Now, there's an exception later this week. We'll look at that again. That'll be probably around Friday, where we could have temperatures back to the 90s. I know Gabe and I joking behind the scenes last week. We're like, how many more of these 90-degree days do we have? It's just been so cool lately, and the extended forecast largely keeps us that way as well. I think we have one of those days at least later this week based on some of the latest data there. Outside, not far away from it, in Adenton. We're 86 degrees right now. Anytime, though, this time of year that we're 86 and it feels like 88, you know we're doing okay. That humidity not terribly high, some partly cloudy skies, but still pretty good for the pool or the lake or whatever body of water hopefully you were able to find over the course of this weekend. Caledonia right now showing up with a little more cloud cover. We'll look at some showers that are trying to get close there. Looks like that reporting station not showing up at the moment there. I guess that's one way to keep those temperatures from going above the 90-degree point. We are 90, though, in Winona. Again, that mix of clouds out there. None of these clouds the kind that would produce any sort of precipitation. Again, appreciate the good folks at the North Mississippi Storm Chasers and Spotters for partnering with us to utilize these cameras. So rain coverage, about as good a chance as we're going to get right now. We'll still have some limited chances for some rainfall into the overnight hours. Still 85 degrees, that 6 p.m. temperature on the average there. 74 by 9, 71 as we look toward midnight. Those winds out of an east and southeasterly direction, again, trying to eventually bring up a little bit more moisture, but we're largely cut off because of the positioning of our nearest front. High temperatures today, 88 in Tupelo, 90 in Grenada, 92 in Greenwood. Again, some 90s out there in the Delta, but the heat index largely only adding a couple degrees where it's really even a factor at all. Mississippi Live Weather Radar at this point. Again, a couple of spotty showers out there at this time. Let's zoom in on a couple of those. I'm going to change over our radar perspective here to the radar out of the Columbus Air Force Base on precipitation mode, and we'll zoom in a little bit closer on a few of these showers. I mentioned we had a couple there around Caledonia. As we bring it in a little bit closer, there's just this little boundary that's kind of over there, and you can barely honestly see. I'm going to bring it in a little closer as well just for a moment here, because there's just right there that little blip pretty much right over top of the Woodlawn area. That might have been sprinkles. Yeah, that's about as good as some of the rain chances have been today, though we did have a little shower slightly heavier around Columbus earlier on. One around Aliceville, though, only a couple of lightning strikes with that, heading toward the south and east, really moving out of the area at this moment. We'll track that. Again, speed on this over the course of the 1 hour loop here. Actually, it's about 2 hour loop, about 15 to 20 miles per hour. So we've got 13 miles per hour. We show West Green at 525. Not a lot of folks in advance of that. One there near the Alabama 17 sign showing up there between Millport and Vernon near Heidegge at this point in Kingville. Again, not large. I mean, look at this. I'm going to stop this on the final scan here for just a moment, because this is the thing. This is how good your rain chance is today, right? That is a 3 mile wide shower. Not a lot of meaningful moisture coming from that, as we are largely fairly dry. And outside of that, I mean, maybe a couple sprinkles in northwest Mississippi, but that is about it. So we just have not had a lot of meaningful moisture today. I'm going to widen things out just a little bit here, and I'm actually change things up. I'm going to change this over to our satellite. We're going to do the satellite, kind of the IR here, which is the infrared satellite. Let's go a little bit wider for a moment. And here is that front I was kind of referencing a moment ago there. This has kind of cut us off from the more significant moisture, because down in the Gulf of Mexico, of course, you can see lots of clouds just right along that. And so this has left us relatively dry. And so because of that, again, our rain chances have not been particularly impressive. But I do think with a trough and there's kind of a little wave of energy moving in from the north and west, that will start to enhance some of our rain chances slightly better as we look toward tomorrow. So let's look at futurecast over the course of the next 12 hours or so. And it has kind of overdone some of the rain chances, in my opinion, there. You can see certainly on the Alabama side, which is where we were showing you Mississippi Live weather radar just a moment ago there. That's where the rainfall is a little bit more likely. But that front is just largely not moving. That's why it has the red and blue next to there. It's just what we call stationary front, so it's kind of stuck. And so that's keeping the more humid air to the south. So while we do show overnight, this is shown Tuesday, tomorrow morning, about 3 o'clock in the morning, perhaps a couple of rumbles, Tala County back toward Carroll County, not expecting a lot of meaningful moisture out of that. But this could mean that as you head back to school tomorrow morning, that at least in some cases, we could have some spotty showers out there. So we'll be giving you that bus stop forecast here in just a minute. But 8 o'clock in the morning, this has a few more around. As that trough approaches, our rain chances do get a little bit better as we progress into the day. So over the next 24 hours, again, those rain chances increasing throughout the day on your Tuesday. We're 10% on that rain coverage, 6 a.m., about 67, a little below our normal for this time of year. 73 by 9 a.m., we're 81 by noontime, 86 in the afternoon, and rain coverage, including a few thunderstorms there, sitting at around 40%. But I think a lot of us were probably going to mostly end up still fairly dry. I'm hoping, I know maybe many of you are hoping to pick up some rainfall. It certainly isn't going to be drought busting, but at least we'll get a little bit there. Okay, coming up in 60 seconds, we'll be looking in more detail where those storms are popping up and looking ahead toward that spike in temperatures later this week, complete from the Room to Room Weather Center as Mississippi Live Weather at 5 continues right after this.
For more than 100 years, First Choice Bank has provided dedicated community banking to North Mississippi. The banking products and services you need when you need them. At First Choice, you're our priority. Make First Choice your choice for banking.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.
If you're facing a DUI charge, every decision matters. At the law office of Andrew W. Stewart II, we provide a skilled defense to protect your record, rights, and future. Call today or visit drewstewartlaw.com. Your future is worth defending.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lawpon.
Well, good evening, Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon here. We love that you're watching us down there in Aberdeen. You're watching Mississippi Live Weather here at the Room to Room Weather Center at 5 and 90 degrees the temperature. I mean, anytime this time of year that feels like temperature comes in 91, only 1 above the actual temperature, it's a beautiful day. Find some time to get out on the patio. If you can't do it today, it's still a little warm this afternoon. Just build in even a couple minutes tomorrow morning, because a lot of times people are like, it doesn't seem like we have good fall season here. Don't always have fall-like weather. This is the kind of days where technically it still reads summer that would qualify as kind of that fall-like sort of morning. So tomorrow morning, not cool, but not warm either, at least for a few moments as the kids are heading out to the bus stop. Appreciate all the folks there in Aberdeen. Smithville showing up again with those mostly clear skies. That Monroe County reporting station not showing up either at this instant, at least the northern part of the county, with only a few puffy clouds out there. A bunch of different cloud layers here, but those high cirrus on the horizon, kind of the sign of that change in the pattern, with the rain chances coming up a little bit more for tomorrow. And then down in West Point right now, coming in with those partly cloudy skies. We're going to have to check some of these reporting stations. Might need to restart something. Got some of them coming in, but for whatever reason, that one not at this instant. And of course, need a good wash on that MDOT camera there on the south side of the West Point area. So pick up temperature tomorrow, about 67. Yeah, we're going to have a couple spotty showers around initially there. That's why it shows the rain on, the rain off. Mostly off in the morning, but there will be some spots. You want to check out our meteorologist, Maggie McCauley, starting at 6:30 a.m. She'll have live updates, 6:30, 7, and 7:30 a.m. to get you out the door. Track any of that on Mississippi Live Weather Radar. And appreciate the good folks at IMPC for sponsoring our school bus forecast. 86 with some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Here's a look at Futurecast again this evening. Not a whole lot out there. And these are all pretty small. I mean, if I were just to zoom this thing in here for just a moment, even on our model, that's only showing some of these to be 5 to 8 miles across. That is small, even for this, because the model resolution typically isn't very good because, you know, it's projecting the future. So there are some reasons behind that. Anyway, point being that most of us are fairly dry this evening, and the best chances we show Florence back toward Russellville, out toward Jasper, and out closer to the Birmingham area, with most of us maybe a sprinkle at most, and well, most of us nothing with those scattered clouds. 10 p.m. here for tonight. Again, mostly dry. We do show this weak wave. Notice how a little more green showing up hour to hour, midnight, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. This is where that limited chance for a few showers comes in early on your Tuesday. And this is a decent representation, a little more than what our HRRR Futurecast, which is what this model is, was showing even an hour and a half ago. So maybe a slightly greater chance, again, to have some of these showers there back from Fulton toward Amory, toward Columbus for early morning on your Tuesday. Maggie will have the very latest. And of course, if you're watching this in the Mississippi Live Weather app, we have the interactive radar to help you there as well, and all those alerts you need. 68, that low temperature there in Greenwood. We're 64 degrees, Water Valley and Bruce. 65 beginning temperature in the Tupelo area, and 64 New Albany, Booneville, and Iuka. So Futurecast continues to show this kind of initial wave working its way eastward. You'll notice this projection doesn't have quite as many showers in the early morning. That is showing you the difference between our very, very latest we had just a moment ago and the one from midday. The one midday projection goes a little farther out, so that's what we're looking at here. And again, those spotty storms, again, possible 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning or so, showing more of those back toward Chula and Kosciuszko. So these aren't just heating of the day sort of storms. They are kind of popping up as we go through midday as well. So easily our best rain chance in the next week probably ends up being for tomorrow, and these still, even in that scenario, remain spottier here than a few other locations. That trough, this kind of area of lift moving in from the north and west, one of the factors that we are watching. And again, a few isolated thunderstorms getting somewhat heavier ahead of that. Not a significant chance for severe storms, but it's not impossible to get 1 or 2 with a couple strong wind gusts or maybe a few smaller hailstones. So we'll be monitoring things, of course, closely, and updates on that tonight at 10 o'clock on Mississippi Live Weather. So 89, Clarksdale, we're looking at 88 degrees in Grenada for high temperatures for tomorrow. Our 30-year average, our normal for this time of year, is around 90, so definitely going to be still a couple degrees below that. And then a couple spotty showers and storms even into your Tuesday evening. Our strike model here tends to kind of overdo rain chances, and so the fact that it's very limited is one of the things still calling into question the overall coverage of storms for tomorrow. And again, a few of these still popping up Wednesday morning through Wednesday midday and even into Wednesday afternoon as well. And again, pockets of heavier rainfall, but again, most of these well below severe limits, and just hopefully we get this, because I know I badly need some rainfall at my house. I know a lot of folks are like that. We're looking Wednesday, somewhere around Tupelo, Amory, even a few of these trying to get back toward Eupora and Winona by that time. But we do start the trend toward a drier pattern as that wave kind of scoots to the east. We start to turn the rainfall chance up to a little bit. But look at this. It's a cold front to the north. Now, before we get too excited, this largely kind of stalls out before it gets here with a meaningful cooler air. It actually could enhance temperatures up, believe it or not, a little bit as we go into your Friday, as we get a little compressional heating ahead of that, believe it or not. So high temperatures, we're in the mid-80s for your Wednesday, about 87 Senatobia and South Haven. We're 87 Bruce, 88 degrees in Columbus, and 86 in Vernon, and about 89 degrees in Belzona. So as we look at that 7-day forecast here, again, 67 to begin your temperature there on on Tuesday were 81 by noon and 82 by 5 p.m. with that peak temperature as thunderstorms are popping up at around 87. Rain coverage around 40% or so. We're 30% as we look toward your Wednesday. And eventually by Thursday and Friday, that drier air kind of with that shifts in as the overall pattern kind of takes a little bit of a change. And notice how we watch temperatures spike up a little bit more as we go into your Friday at around 90, but then slightly cooler air, another front moves in and it drops temperatures ever so slightly into this upcoming weekend. But I mean, come on. This time of year, there's a lot of times we're up there practically at the triple digit point, and that is just not this pattern. And I've heard pretty much nobody complaining about that. In fact, everyone kind of tiptoeing around. Hopefully this can stick around. We'll look at more of that extended forecast beyond the 7-day forecast and what those trends are looking like coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 6. Of course, you can get that latest forecast anytime using the Mississippi Live Weather app, free and available for all of those different devices, Android, iOS there. If you happen to be watching us on Facebook, if you just snap a screenshot of this, you can, when you look at that picture, click either one of those to download that app. And we appreciate all of you, the hundreds of thousands that have done it so far here. Our next live broadcast is going to be tonight at 6 p.m. here from the Room to Room Weather Center. And what we're going to be concentrating on at that point is that extended, some of those longer range 10-day to 2-week projections. How are we looking for precipitation and temperatures as we go into this new week? Well, and new month. We'll break that down for you coming up tonight, live at 6 o'clock from the Room to Room Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. We will see you then, and thanks for watching Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.